Hi, good evening, and welcome to the Jon Gaunt live show. Hope you're going to join in tonight. There's loads and loads to talk about. We're going to talk about Starmer. He's under fire again via Rachel Reeves. This time it's over a humiliating, that's the only word to describe it, a humiliating U-turn on the Winter Fuel Allowance. He stole that money off pensioners and they complained. Everybody complained. He wasn't going to move, but then, unlike Mrs. Thatcher, this Prime Minister was for turning. Just 10 months into power, and Labour is already retreating on policies which they didn't even campaign on. This wasn't even in the manifesto. Rachel Reeves now has reinstated the fuel payments for about 9 million pensioners. That's about 1 million are going to be missing out on it. She hasn't said how it's going to work, because obviously they're going to have to be means tested. It's going to work within the tax system, evidently. Experts are now saying instead of saving the billions that she thought it would, it'd be lucky to save 400 million. So these incompetent sixth formers who are running our country have completely cocked this one up. The public backlash has been massive. And then, of course, there was the bruising set of election results where Nigel Farage literally, metaphorically, slapped Keir Starmer's bottom red raw. Careful. So the question I want to ask, which the mainstream won't, is this U-turn today a rethink or a retreat? Stay with me as we unpack this Starmer crisis. And it is a crisis, because this is definitely the beginning of the end for him now. They've got a trust problem. Nobody believes them. Everybody calls Starmer a liar, don't they? What does it mean, though, for our future? Because he still hasn't dealt with things like the small boats crisis. There's a whole load of stuff in his in tray, and he's too busy looking over his shoulder like this. What's Nigel Farage doing? That's what he's worried about, and that makes me sick. And the way they've done this U-turn, obviously I welcome it, because I thought it was totally wrong that some pensioners would have to choose between heat and meat. But it's not till next winter. What about the money they lost this year? But we've got to welcome it, I guess. But I say Starmer is completely and utterly effed up, if you understand what I mean. What do you think? What do you think? And then, of course, there's all this thing about his private life. These 3 Ukrainians, allegedly, who firebombed his old house. We've got to be careful what we say here. But they were in court last Friday for a few minutes. They didn't actually go. One refused to go, and the other 2 would get on video. But the press aren't really covering it. Why? There's no reason why they couldn't report the facts. And also, what's happened to that story? It was the Russians who were involved. That seems to have died a death. And people are saying to me, well, don't you know, you idiot? I've had about 100,000 tweets on this today. And some people are saying, don't you know the difference between pleading guilty and saying you're innocent? Well, of course I do. I'm not talking about that, because they're saying, well, if you just plead guilty, the trial happens quickly. I know that. My point is, did the people in Southport and the other towns that rioted, were they told and explained correctly what was going on? He is very clever. He used to run, as he keeps telling us, he used to run the Crown Prosecution Service. Somebody said to me today, well, we can trust them. Say that to some of the grooming victims. Say that to some of Jimmy Savile's victims. Yes, we can trust them. You're right. All I'm asking, and I want you to be careful, all I'm asking is, why haven't we been given any more details? And also, they're on remand. Well, they're not even on remand yet. They haven't even been, I don't think technically they've been charged. Oh, they have. But they haven't given a pleading yet. They haven't said whether they're innocent or not. And so they're banged up in prison. And the trial is until April. Now, I know there's a backlog in the courts, but this is our Prime Minister. Surely he should. I know this isn't two-tier legal system I'm advocating here. I'm just saying we need to know if that attack, if indeed it was these people, was that attack against him personally or against the British state? We have a right to know. Are there any more people out there who might want to kill or attack our Prime Minister? That's perfectly valid. Why are the mainstream media keeping so quiet about it? Listen to how I'm carefully talking about this. But back to Starmer. Do you accept the U-turn? Did you notice today Rachel Reeves did not apologise? What is it with Starmer's Labour? If they just show, I said this a few days ago, didn't I? If he just said, look, we got it wrong, I'm sorry. But as Elton John would say, sorry seems to be the hardest word. He refused 2 or 3 times to actually say, I'm sorry. I'll cock that up. What they don't seem to understand, this particular brand of politician, is sometimes people like sheer honesty. So if you say, yeah, hands up, I was in the wrong, but don't worry, I've now done this U-turn on it, I don't think people see that as weak. I think today people are seeing it as weak, the U-turn, because they're lying. Oh, it's a rethink. Oh, we've suddenly got a bit more money, so we decided to do this. That's all BS, isn't it? They've done it because Nigel Farage is winning in all the polls. They've done it because of the public backlash. And, you know, they're not going to give their money. You do understand what's going to happen now, don't you? Now we're going to get tax rises down the road. Why did she announce it today after saying, oh, it'll be a budget? What did he say? He said it'd be a budget event. So everyone thought it'd be the spring statement. Spring statement is until Wednesday. Why have they come out and said it today? I'll tell you why. Because on Wednesday, she'll probably announce some tax rises. You can't trust this government. I think this is the end. I think now people just can't bear them. He's the most unpopular Prime Minister on record. Remember what we talked about yesterday. 74% of people say the way he's dealt with the small boats crisis is abysmal. And it is. And I don't see it getting any better. He's too busy worrying about whether he's going to have to take those curtains down or move clothes out of his closet and go back to living. Well, if he's got a house to live in, go back to one of his. Mike could always bunk up at Lord Ali's penthouse flat, £18 million, like his son did during the revision period. But what is going on? Why aren't they getting down to business? Why can't they apologise? I guess in the end, why can't they just be human? What do you think? You going to join in tonight? Come on, let's get your comments going. And if you're liking the show, please press the like button on the screen. And if you want to donate, you can, of course, on YouTube. If you fancy, if you're watching it live at the moment, press the little $sign, and then you can give a super chat or a super sticker. Alternatively, buy me a coffee. Okay? Thank you very much indeed. Let's take some comments, shall we? Farage. He will be the next PM of the UK, says Andrew Cottrell. I don't know why that made the picture disappear. I don't like that. I'll try again on another one. Oh, no, I don't know why it's doing that tonight. So I won't bother putting the comments on the screen, if that's all right with you, until that clears. Evening, John, says Chopper MK50. Maybe Starmer thought if we turned the winter fuel ruling around, people wouldn't notice if he doesn't turn any boats around. That's a very good comment, Chopper. Yeah, it's again diversion tactics, but I can't see it. I can't see it myself. I just think they're so arrogant. They don't understand how to apologise. Dave Stock says they're S bricks. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I do not know what that means. Very slow on the comments today. What's up with you? Cat got your tongue? Let's have your opinions, please. So tonight, it's this U-turn on the winter fuel. Did you celebrate it when it first came out? I did. I think it's good that people are now going to get what they've paid in for. They deserve it. And I do agree with me. I said right at the beginning there should be some form of means testing. I don't think the way that they're going to do it is going to work. I think it's going to be cumbersome. I think it's going to cost a fortune. I mean, it's just a question as well. You know, say it's given to an old age pensioner and then they die before the end of the tax year. How do they sort that out? There's all little difficulties like that. But primarily, he's listened maybe on that subject to the public, him and Reeves. Well, she's toast, isn't she? She won't be here by the end of next week, I don't think. I think he'll get rid of her, hoping that'll sort of solidify his support. Problem is, he hasn't got any support to solidify, has he? Just 10 months into power. And they're having to do massive, and this is a massive U-turn. She said, no, I'm not going to change my mind. She said it repeatedly. What's she doing today? Climbing down. Is she apologising? Is she buggery? But 9 million pensioners, thankfully, come this next winter, will be a little bit better off. But there was no need for it. It was political naivety, wasn't it, to even come up with this ridiculous policy. But then they've done that all along. Look at the problem. They've got a major trust problem. Look at the farmers, what they're doing to farmers. And I know it's not masses of farmers, but it's united the whole farming industry against them. Then the fishermen and fisherwomen, they've done the same there. Then the students. What are they playing at? It's almost as if they're on a kamikaze mission to destroy Britain. And then, of course, the big one is the small boats. I've suggested the way to solve that is simple. You just need the will to do it. Put the Navy in the Channel, put the Army on the beaches, get them out of the hotels immediately, the ones who are here, put them into tents, put them in big warehouses, put them in the old COVID hospitals that we built and never used. But we can't carry on spending £4.5 million a day on this. Did you see the reports today where they're saying it's the tax take of a city or a town like Manchester, right, that is being given effectively to these illegals? And they are illegals. They shouldn't be in the country. And if tents and warehouses are good enough for them when they're in Calais, why isn't it good enough when they're in the UK? Can anyone explain that to me? Because I just find that bizarre. I don't think it's inhumane. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's common sense. And I'll tell you something else. And I'm not asking people to do this. I'm not planting this in your heads. But did you see the riots in LA last night and carrying on into this morning? Did you? If Starmer doesn't get a grip on the small boats crisis in Dover, as the weather heats up, I can see that kind of thing happening here. Now, no doubt he'll just call them all far-right hooligans and start trying to lock them all up. But it isn't the answer. I said at the time of Southport, Starmer, do you remember? I said, you can't just condemn people. You have to try and understand why this is happening. He wasn't interested. He just played Billy Big Boots. Oh, I've got a massive majority. I'm popular. I'll do this. Now, polls did show that his robust action, to be fair to him, in the riots, most people agreed with. I think where people began to question it was when people were going to prison without really proper legal representation and without a proper court case. And I think that's why this thing about the Ukrainian guys at the moment is rankling a little bit with people. Maybe you've got a different view. I'd love to hear it. Why isn't that working today? Is it working at home? Can you see me still when the comments come up on the screen or not? Just let me know in the notes, because I can't see any. All I can see is the comment. Starmer has lost the confidence of the people. He certainly has. He's lost the dressing room, that's for sure. Nothing changes. Starmer is a corrupt liar and he needs to go, says Phil Bilton. Thank you, Phil, for your comment today. Oh, look, now they're coming up. Technology. I'm more depressed at the thought of this government carrying on for another 4 years, John. I'll be broke long before then at this rate. How's Farage going to save us when Starmer has wrecked everything? Well, I saw Farage today. Farage didn't really have his mojo today. Did you see? He did a press conference in Wales. I thought it was pretty boring. And I wondered if there was something wrong with him. I don't know. Maybe this whole thing with the guy Yusuf leaving and coming back. I mean, and that's ridiculous, isn't it? They've made themselves look stupid. Have your arguments behind closed doors, gentlemen. Please, for goodness sake. Now I've lost my picture completely. There it is, back again. Let's go to Maggie Young. I think everyone is tired of not being listened to, speaking to a brick wall, a government who hates their own people. Maggie, that's a brilliant point. It really is a brilliant point. And I agree with you entirely. And I think that's where I came from with the idea for today's podcast. Fools fuel truth. Because the fool traditionally in drama, in Shakespeare and stuff, is the truth teller. But Starmer doesn't tell the truth. And Starmer doesn't listen. He's not listening to the people. We've made it clear what our priorities are, right? Our priorities are not net zero, Mr. Starmer. I don't call him sir anymore. Our priorities are the immigration problem, both legal and illegal. That's probably number one. We want the health service protected. That's probably number two. We don't want to go to war in Ukraine and have our boys and girls die on the battlefields of Ukraine or Russia. I don't think most of us think Russia is the real enemy. Lots of people laughed at you when that came out. Oh, maybe the people who are doing the arson attacks, maybe it's a Russian plot. Come on, grow up. Stop treating us as if we're morons, because we're not. We're not. And please remember, we're the people who pay your wages. But that's what's wrong with politics completely. They get into Westminster and they just ignore us. I think it's interesting on this burqa thing. That story just won't go away. Did you see Yusuf Mohammed, whatever his name? What's his name? Zia Yusuf, who left. He left Reform because of the burqa row, but now he's come back. And now he's saying, yeah, I think it should be banned. And I see Kemi saying, if an employer doesn't want you to wear it in the workplace, they've got a right to say, don't wear it. Where was all the other? I think it was Marks and Spencer's. There's a woman working in there in the clothes department. She's got the full gear on. No, it's not a religious obligation. Take it off. Dress normally. Let's see your face. I just find it all just madness. So policies. Why isn't he doing the policies we want? And why isn't he willing to discuss them? If you're liking what I'm doing, don't forget to press the like button. A bit slow on there today. The like button. Smash it for me. Come on. And also, if you do want to contribute, go to www.buymeabeer.com/Jon Gaunt. No, it's buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. And you can do anything from a £5 upwards, or do a super chat or a super sticker here. I'm going to be doing the show for my daughters tomorrow. I'm going dog sitting again for a few days. Although that said, my glands have really come up in the last hour or so. My throat is killing me. So keep me occupied. Otherwise, I'm going to jack in today because I'm not feeling good at all now. Feel great everywhere else. Just just this side of my mouth. Anyway, no good if that's how you make your money, is it? Ian Passy, these sorts of policies are not what the working class expect from Labour. Let's up Lord Ali's tax by 100% and make Oh, no, careful. Make rent boys charge VAT. I don't know what you mean by that, but thank you very much indeed. Jackie Ward says it's working fine, John. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Weasels are the backbone of amoebas. Oh, no, sorry. Weasels with the backbones of amoebas. The lot of them. Denise Deacon, I suppose you're talking, Denise, about our fabulous government. You're right. You're right. She knows she's going to get the bullet, probably the end of this week or into next week. Starmer will do anything to keep in power. And I mean anything. I think he's dangerous. And also, I thought about him the other day. I thought, well, when you look in the mirror and you're having a little shave, hold on a minute. Do you ever wonder, Keir, why do people hate me? You must do. Because I sometimes get really robust criticism on X or on Facebook or even on here. And I often just brush it off. But then sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and think, maybe that person was right. Maybe I am a something whole. Yeah. It doesn't last for long, this lack of self-confidence. But maybe, you see, so I'm saying the pressure on him is mighty. I understand that. But why don't you just go for a few of the popular things? Why don't you score some of the open goals? So why don't you say, I'm going to get tough? All the other parties are now saying they're going to get tough. I read The Sun yesterday and today. You normally just glance at it now on the internet, but I actually read it from page 1 to the back on 2 days on the trot. They've suddenly decided to go mad on immigration. They're, conducting polls, whatever, just like The Sun used to be. They're turning against Starmer. I think they backed him, didn't they? But the papers don't have the influence. Excuse me, I'm full of catarrh now. Excuse me, I just blow my nose. Oh, dear. They don't have the influence. I do apologise about that. They don't have the influence they used to have. But there's no press section that I've seen recently in the last week or two that's on his side. There was the press conference. Do you remember when they all attacked him? Sly News, the BBC. Oh, and that was interesting. Did you see that today? The BBC, Tim, whatever his name is, who's in charge of it. I've met him a few times, actually. He's actually quite a nice bloke. Tim Davey. He's saying we need to reflect more what Reform are saying. And, of course, all the blooming left-wing press are going mad. All the Guardianistas are going mad. Well, you've had it your way for years. What's your problem? Hey? Every programme you turn on is woke or left-wing, isn't it? He's just saying it needs to balance it with some more of reform attitude to life. Oh, and talking of which, what about Greta? Did you see the video? And she says, I've been kidnapped. I'm a hostage. They should have taken you to Gaza like you wanted, love, and left you there. You interfering, stupid little girl. Shut the F up. I admire your courage. I admire your commitment to a cause. But frankly, you're getting on my nerves now. And I had to ask on Twitter earlier, are the kids on holiday? Because I was getting bombarded earlier. When I said this thing about why is the court case in April, everybody thought, well, I don't know what they thought. Are you thick? Don't you know how it works? Well, of course I know how it works. I probably know how it works better than you. But my point was, why the delay? Again, this is another thing I don't get with Starmer. When he announced he was going to put back the winter fuel, he didn't say when. So he just winds people up. He just hasn't got the common touch, has he? I think that's because he's a moron. Dark Angel says, hi, John. Hi, Dark Angel. Darren Vidler, totally agree, John, especially saying people will riot over here. Maggie has got it totally. Maggie, the woman who just messaged, Maggie Young. Yeah, I thought she was spot on. I wasn't saying there's going to be riots. I'm saying he should be worried about it. Do you understand the difference? I'm not suggesting people should. Evening, John. This country is in disarray caused by this Labour Party and also by the last Conservative Party. That's very true. You can't just blame Starmer's mob. They've let things go too far. And Starmer isn't the man to get on top of this, by the way. absolutely right. Why do reform need Islamists? Or then it's stopped, Ian. I don't know what else you're going to say. I don't think they have got any Islamists. I don't think Zaya Yusuf is an Islamist, my friend. He's a Muslim, and that's perfectly acceptable. The Reform Party are going well, but will they still be popular in 4 years? I don't know, Steve, on YouTube. But I tell you what, I'd rather have Farage in number 10 at the moment than any of the other clowns, the fools. I mean it, seriously. They couldn't make much worse of a job of it, could they? And did you see him going on about AI today? AI this, AI that. AI is brilliant. I'm excited by it, but I'm also scared, you know what, about it too. Are we preparing correctly for it? I saw Eamon Holmes on GB News this morning. He said, oh, well, they won't replace me. And then somebody next to him said, well, they've already done that, Eamon. You can now have, I mean, for example, on GB News, the weather, the travel reports, that's voiced by Sam, the newsreader. He doesn't physically read it. They've just taken his voice and they type in what they want to say. I'm not going to go with it. It's probably a good idea. But where's it end? And I saw Sam Coates on Sky. He was talking about a podcast he'd done. And then he said, oh, I saw this podcast I'd done. And then I realised that wasn't me. They'd basically, the AI had learned how he structures his sentences. And they had basically made one up completely. And then when he's challenged them, they denied it. I had an argument with the AI this afternoon. I was trying to get some pictures for this. And they kept messing it up, which is why I went for this old picture. I just had to get on with it. But I give them hell. It's ridiculous because it's a machine. If Starmer tries to draft for a war, that would be interesting. Can you see our sons saying, okay, Starmer, you hate us, so we will go? I think not, mate. And Ronnie, you're dead right. No one's going to sign up for his balmy war, are they? Darren Cummins says, good evening, John. Good evening. Thank you very much. Fraser Ford, I don't know what he's saying. He's got... Oh, what's that? It's a gold thing. Does that mean you've donated to it? I don't know what that means, Fraser, but thank you. I shall find out in a minute. Oh, my throat's really hurting now. Double dose of night nurse. You'll be right as rain tomorrow, says Darren Cummings. Well, what I have done is I've had a gargle with salted water. That normally calms it down, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm pretty rough. Pretty rough. Fraser Ford says, I like your background. Thank you, Fraser. Yeah, I think what I need to do there is we could sell them as postcards, couldn't we? No agreed. I'm reformed now, ex-UKIP. I don't trust the establishment corporate giants anymore, says Jonathan Harrison. Thank you very much. Fraser Ford says, we're the real news now. Well, it's definitely going more that way. It's got to be said. Got to be said, Fraser. Thank you for your comments. Greta is what we call controlled opposition. She goes to Davos. She certainly does. Where are we now? Why does Greta think any government should rescue her? She knew the risks. Yeah, is she from Sweden? I think our own country's turned down going to find her. She is such a jumped up little, isn't she? I mean, I think some of the things she said about the environment are right, to be honest. But I don't think she knows what she's talking about when it comes to Gaza. I think it's a lot more complicated. I wouldn't even want to do a podcast about that. I might have had guests, but I wouldn't want to do it just off my own bat. Lose most of the audience, especially if I said what I really thought. Dark Angel is sick of them all now. And looking at Los Angeles, it is a bit scary. Well, that's what I was saying, Dark Angel. That's what I was getting at. Those riots that are happening in LA, why are they happening? Well, because Trump promised in the election he was going to remove all the illegals. He was going to find out where they were and make them register or get out of the country. That's why it's kicking off in the Hispanic community, which is huge. Don't know if you've been to California, but when you go to California, when you go down the bottom end, when I did Route 66 the reverse way, when you go down there, suddenly you could be in Mexico, literally. Everybody is Latin American. I haven't got a problem with that. I'm just telling you what it's like. But many people have come over the river and come over before the wall was there. And Trump is saying, I'm not having it anymore. And the people who were really rioting yesterday, overnight, they were the people. They were not necessarily Mexicans themselves. or South Americans. They were your uber liberals. They were the same mob or same sort of people who who rioted for Black Lives Matter. It's a powder keg. And then, of course, the governor of California are saying, we don't want your help, Trump, because he's on the other political side. Gavin Newsom or whatever his name is. So it's hell on earth. But I could see that happening in this country. I can see it happening in London because Khan thinks he's the king of London. And I can see people beginning to riot. And I can see people, some of those people now, not all of them, who are in those migrant hotels not being happy if we suddenly said, oh yeah, get in the coach. Well, where are we going? I don't know, mate. You're going back home. But first of all, first stop's Calais. We're going to drop you there. I think it would kick off. And I think if we don't get on top of it, I think the settled community, whether you're black, white, blue, yellow, whatever religion you are, they're going to revolt. I think people have had enough of spending all this money on people who don't want to integrate, but just want our benefits. That's what's going on. And so we need a political leader who's willing to get on top of that. And I don't think this man is the man who can do that. Do you? Well, I've got to finish in a minute because it's really killing me, my throat. Hi, John. There is no answer to the migration problem. It's a very difficult problem. I agree with that, David. But we could, in the end, we have to just look after ourselves. We have to say we're full, no more. If you do get into our country, we will send you straight back. If you come over on a boat, we'll tow the boat back. If you do want to apply for asylum, do it through the proper measures, and then we'll consider it. Because do you know what? We actually want immigrants of all skills and sizes and backgrounds and from all places. But you're not going to jump the queue anymore. We just got to grab it, my friend. It's David, wasn't it? Brian Hill. Starmer is too cowardly to do anything other than dither. I think you are absolutely right. And Chopper, being sarcastic, says, I wonder if the Greta boat was diesel powered. And odds on they knew they'd get stopped, so it's a wasted trip and wasted fuel. Hypocrisy, much. Well said, Chopper. Good way to end, actually. Good way to end, my friend. Right, that's it. I've got to go because my throat is literally killing me. I'll try and do a show tomorrow. I'm sure it'll get better. I'll be in the kitchen tomorrow. 6:30. Join in if you can. There's so much to talk about. Jackie Ward sent me a load of love hearts. That's very nice indeed. And Dark Angel says, I can see that in London, Khan's another useless, small man with a huge ego. He is, you're right. Small man syndrome. I know what you're talking about. I had a dog like that as well. We ended up calling him Gordon Strachan. His little nippy thing, always at your heels. Right, I've got to go. I really have. I'm in pain. I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. Don't forget to always join in on Twitter and on Facebook and all the other places I'm on. And if you've not yet subscribed to YouTube, could you do that? It's called JonGauntTV. It's free. Then you'll always know when I'm doing shows, and you can always then watch all the archive or listen to the podcast. If you're listening on a podcast now, thank you very much for your support as well. Feel free to watch it on replay on YouTube as well. Anyway, that's it. I'm off to get I don't get a Lemsip. Some paracetamols and another gargle with salt. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. Cheers. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.